Alright guys, welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. We are starting over with a brand new one. I think I'm just gonna start it from here because this is where I made my very first choice. Because the whole stuff in the beginning didn't matter. Okay, last time I went left and it was good because I ran into Karma. So I'm gonna go right. Hey! Hey, this way. You're... Time to talk, princess. How do you know who I am? There's another one! Stop running, you two! Come on. Boy grabs my wrist and pulls me after him. He takes off with a sudden burst of speed, then I'm running even faster than I just was. I'm not entirely convinced following him is a good idea, but at least the boy seems to have a better sense of direction than me. Oh, running causes rocks in the pathway to come loose. Before I notice them, I pass to step down hard on them. Ooh, a sharp pain shoots up into my foot and I collapse to the ground. It hurts. Princess. Try to stand, but the pain in my feet is unbearable. Fall back down to the dirt with a gasp. I can't. Ah! Maybe I was supposed to run into. I'm just kind of seeing what this does. Maybe I was supposed to run into him again. Yeah, because that's like your generic. I think I done goofed. Ah! Oh, I won't let you touch her. Ha! Says the little boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, hey, there's Karma. What is this ghastly sight before me? Two adults threatening a child and a lady? Very ungentlemanly. What are the likes of you even doing around this neighborhood? You asking to get fleeced? Asking. Perhaps I'm in the mood for a scuffle. Huh. But this time, Waltz is in the picture. Interesting. I like this music, though. Okay. When old man brandishes his sword, his expression confident, maybe even cocky. Show me what you've got, sirs. And please, don't bore me. Who are these people? I ain't dealing with this for the money. He's got a sword. Why, come back here, you coward. The two of us can take him. I think your friend has the right idea. I'm not the type to show mercy. Ah. This is way too much trouble for a little gold. You're late. Sorry, kid. You know how hard it is for me to be invisible around here. Wait, what did you just call me? Eddie, small one. These two know each other? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel ill. It is pounding my feet feel simultaneously like they're frozen and on fire. Stomach rumbles, hunger coming back with vengeance. Body feels light. Hey, princess. Princess. Calm down. Parfait will be able to help her. But for now, we need to move before anyone else sees us. Yeah. Hey! Interesting. Interessante. Don't worry, you're safe now. Everything is fading. A dream? This'll skip to stuff. I know all these answers. Oh wait, there was an option that said I have no questions. Dang it! Oh well. So, this is taking me to stuff that I have not seen before. Okay, I'm not going for him right now. But I'll say da-da-da. You hate me. No right to start acting the victim now. Not when you've treated my family with such disrespect. Interesting. The only reason I didn't say anything before is because Emmeline didn't want me to. I don't... He speaks to that little bunny sometimes. I'm happier too, now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend like you anymore. I'm gonna return to the palace now. I don't want to do his route. I'm gone and they're all happier. They've never known you. Okay. Yep. Might as well just still be on his good side. So I have multiple options here. Alright, lots of expositional stuff that I already know about. Mr. Broom. Alright. Whom should I ask for help? I guess we're gonna go for Rod. Oh no, wait, no, you're... That's not what I wanted. Wonder what he's discussed with Parfait. Rod, I must first, as he sees me enter the room. Oh, seems like the princess has something she would like to speak with you about. Oh, that's the wrong person. Probably already knows why I'm here. Thank you, Prince Rod, for telling me about this. I shall leave you with the princess now. Rod's expression turns grim. Clearly disapproves of me even just being in the same room as him. As soon as Parfait leaves, he shoots a glare in my direction. What do you want? I've done enter the room and he's already angry. I'm so not used to being treated like this by him. I'm here to speak to you about goodness. You're asking the wrong person. I need, like... You're asking the wrong person, but Fairy. Make the right choice in choosing to come to him. Do not intend to help you break your curse, no matter what Lady Parfait says. Pardon? Emily and my mother have tried to be kind to you many times, but you only ever respond with disrespect and cruelty. Cruelty? Think I've been cruel to them? How else would you describe your behavior? Am I suddenly the one at fault? Their coming to the palace made my life miserable. I'm the victim here, not them. The others may think you're capable of goodness, but I severely doubt it. I do not wish to work with you, so do not come to me for help. Excuse me. He turns around and begins to walk away, leaving me to stand alone in the room, even angrier than I was before. How dare he treat me like this? I grab his arm and pull him around so he's facing me. I refuse to let him belittle me like this, especially when I'm making a conscious effort to change. What if I can help you break your curse? Will you help me then? Rod fixes me with an icy stare as he pulls away. I don't intend to break my curse. What? Rod shoots me one last glare before he leaves the march-in, leaving me to stand there, confused. He doesn't intend to break his curse, then why is he even here? Stare in horror at the floor. Okay, this is stuff I've already seen. I think I'm gonna go to Karma just because. You're being quiet today? What a rare sight. Oh, Princess. Why'd you be so surprised to see me? Because it's an honor every time you visit me. Have you come for my advice? You mean to tell me how to do a good deed? My, so straightforward. What's he talking about? It's really simple. You just do something without things attached. What? With no strings attached? Yes, you do something for someone without asking them to pay you back. It's hard to wrap my head around doing such a thing. Why would I do something without needing to? Have you done such a thing for someone before? Of course I have, Princess. That was a long pause. It was only a thoughtful one. Right. Is that all? I believe so. A tidbit of wisdom ought to serve you well. A month has passed and I've yet to complete even one good deed. Ah! That's Karma. That's the one guy. Isn't this the guy at the end? No, I don't. Oh, wait, he's not a choice. Wait, he's not a choice? Is that not who you are? Crap. Crap. No, I want to go back. Fine, I'll get you out of the way. Jeez. Meh. He's not going to. No, we don't have a good relationship. Rod has spared no effort in telling me how cruel I've been to his family. I feel like rectifying whatever mistakes I've made with them might be an easy way to get 3 good deeds. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. But Fairy, didn't he tell you that he didn't want to break his curse? Yes, but that may not be the whole truth. He's still reluctant to break his curse despite all the advice I have offered him. Perhaps you will be able to encourage him where I could not. Do not care if he does not want to break his curse. I only need him to help me remedy the supposedly bad things I've done to his family. I believe that would be the easiest way to break my curse. The problem is that I rarely see him here. He's usually at the palace. In order for this arrangement to work, I'll need him to be in the palace. I, for one, think it's a terrible idea. What if... Dolores' voice trails off. She averts her gaze to the floor, her expression a mixture of anxiety and some consideration. What if what? Is there something I should know? Both the witch and the fairy just stare at me silently. In a few moments, Parfait speaks. You would be far away from us, Princess. We would not be able to assist you. Witches could be lying in wait for you, knowing that you're in your true crown, Princess of Angel. They might seek to use you for their own purpose. What sorts of purposes? Why would the witches be after me in the first place? Many of them have been corrupted by the tenebrium. Darkness has invaded their hearts, making them bitter. Many of them simply want to see the fairy tale curse continue on undisturbed. This is all just speculation, but it's better to be safe than sorry. What would you have me do? Delora? I have an idea. They can get her into the palace and make sure there's someone to look after for her. Just trust me. Tomorrow the Ice Princess returns to her palace. I have a bad feeling about this. I'm a maid! This cannot be happening. Don't dilly-dally. The princess will soon be awake and expecting her new maid. Close my eyes and suppress the urge to groan. So that Delora was able to turn me into Emmeline's personal maid. She thought this would be funny, did she? Well, make her pay for this. Expect you not be late again. We have very strict rules on how the palace staff should behave. Not exactly sure how Delora managed this. She told me she was going to cast a spell on me that would be over as soon as I opened my eyes. Closed my eyes, and sure enough, when I opened them, I found myself here in a maid uniform. What does she do? The maid continues to babble at me. How annoying. I pretend to listen to her as she leads me through the palace hallways. Emmeline and Rod's chambers are located here. Oh! Come to a halt when Emmeline suddenly appears from around the corner. Your Highness. The maid ducks into a neat curtsy. Emmeline's eyes meet mine. I tense to wait for any signs of recognition. She only gives me a curious look as if wondering who I am. She clearly does not recognize me. The maid suddenly reaches back and pulls up my shoulder, forcing me into a bow. You're in front of the Crown Princess of Angel. Show some respect, girl. My apologies, Your Highness. She is new and clearly needs to be taught some manners. Excuse me? Oh, please. There's no need for that. Is she trying to achieve or to pretend to be kind to a palace maid? She's trying to fool. Your Highness, this is your new personal maid. And then glances at the maid, looking confused. Why do I need a personal maid? It's by the king's orders, Princess. Emmeline turns to look at me again. What is your name? She's talking to you, girl. Scowl at the maid before facing Emmeline. Cannot believe I've fallen so low that I'm now being ordered around by a maid. But fairy. It's nice to meet you. What's her voice? It's nice to meet you, Butt Fairy. I hope we can get along. I do not respond. Emmeline's face falls. I was just heading to breakfast with my family. Of course. Butt Fairy will escort you to the dining hall. Raise my eyebrows at the maid, irritated. There's no need for concern. I can get there on my own. Breathe a sigh of relief. I'm not here to babysit her. The maid leans forward and whispers something in my ear. Don't know how it is that you landed this position, but you owe the royal family your diligence and respect. If you continue to show disrespect, I'll have a word with the king. The maid pushes me forward, so I'm forced to stand next to Emmeline. She will escort you to the dining hall, Your Highness. Her job requires that she follow you everywhere in case you require assistance with anything. But it's almost time for breakfast, Princess Emmeline. Emmeline frowns and looks at me. I'm so sorry. What is she apologizing for? Good morning! Good morning. It seems like you met your personal maid. The king's eyes widen as soon as he spots me. You look familiar. Does he recognize me? I feel a little tremble in my heart as I consider that hope. Are you not the girl that came to the gates before? I deflate with a soundless sigh. He remembers me as the peasant. This is the first time me and you as Emmeline's personal maid. What is your name? Butt Fairy. That is a lovely name. Is it? We're glad to have you here, Butt Fairy. The king gives me a warm smile. The softness of his gaze makes me angry. He never treated me so kindly and remembered me as his own daughter. Emmeline takes her seat while I walk to stand at the walls beside the other maids and butlers. Door opens and Rod walks inside. He greets the king, Ophelia, and then his sister. He's just about to take a seat when his eyes suddenly fall on me. Shock as a pear on his face. Rod, is something wrong? Ugh. I see there's a new maid on staff. So it's almost accusatory. Bristles words I'm about to say something. Ophelia speaks. She's Emmeline's new personal maid, the Butt Fairy. Rod stares at me for a few moments, his expression unreadable. Eventually he moves to take a seat. I stand silent and watch the royal family eat their breakfast. The small area is filled with happy conversation. The four of them smiling at each other when they speak, and it's easy to see how comfortable they all are with each other. When I was still here, our meals were always so quiet. Everyone looks so happy now. I bite my lip to will the heavy feeling away. Rod told me that before, but I don't want to believe him. Turn back to the conversation at hand. We have something very important to discuss with you, Emmeline. Oh? I have brought this up before, but now the matter is more pressing. Is this about... Yes, this is about the ball. Ophelia gives the king a disapproving look. Dear. I know it seems a strange proposition, but this is royal tradition. Emmeline is at suitable marrying age, and this ball may yet help her find a suitor. But a husband... Emmeline's cheeks are tinted pink. A royal ball for Emmeline? For her to find a husband? I never would have agreed to such a thing. The king never forced me into one because he knew that. I will not force you to marry someone you do not love, Emmeline. We agreed on this ball to uphold tradition. All eligible bachelors will be invited in 4 months' time, and you will choose the man you want to court you. I did find my true love through a ball, after all. He glances at Ophelia, who responds with a fond smile. Her expressions fall back into something more worried when she looks at her daughter. But if I can't choose anyone? We will throw one ball, as per tradition. We'll not force you into another ball if you do not find a good suitor, but we must uphold traditions at least once. Perhaps this will push you to think more about the future. I will not put any added pressure on you, Emmeline, but I will be happy to see grandchild before I have to give up my throne. I'm not getting any younger, you know. Father. Tell the king's trying to make light of this situation. There's an undertone of seriousness. Emmeline eventually sighs and then slowly nods. I understand. My gaze shifts to Rod to search for a reaction, but his expression is no reaction at all. Did he know this was going to happen? But can I really be the princess kingdom of Angel deserves? I feel so unprepared. You are the crown princess of Angel. You must be confident. Emmeline looks down, looking genuinely distressed. I'm finished. May I be excused? But sweetheart, you barely touched your food. You may. Emmeline stands up and ducks into a quick curtsy before rushing from the room. Do not move until I feel Rod's glare on me. I realize I'm meant to follow Emmeline. Excuse me. I curtsy and follow after Emmeline. Barely make it a few steps away from the dining hall before the door flies open and Rod's rushing after me. What are you doing here? I'm sorry, baby. Can't be with you anymore. Okay, in this situation, like in the beginning, she would avoid the question. Rod begins to advance toward me, but he stops in his tracks when I speak. Do not have time to argue with you, Rod. If you're here to break your curse, then you're not getting any help from me. You're not the only person I can ask for help. I turn away from him to fall after Emmeline, but Rod grabs my arm. I stop and turn to glare at him. What now? What are you doing here? I wrench out of Rod's grip. What do you think? I turn and walk away. Dang it. I'm here to break my curse. You expect me to believe that you had people offering to help you at the... Believe that when you had people offering to help you at the march-in? Rod's expression changes, anger clear in his eyes. No, I know why you're really here. What are you talking about? You thought you might take back what is rightfully yours, didn't you? You have no qualms about hurting my family again. I stare at him, nonplussed by his accusations. Carefully quell the shimmering anger inside me. Last thing I want is to be fired before I break my curse. I'm not here to hurt anyone, so stop accusing me of such things. We glare at each other in silence. I'd always thought that Rob was closed off and quiet. His emotions are always blazing in his eyes. You shouldn't be here. Rod steps back, but his gaze is still fierce. I do not have time for this. I'm going to find Emmeline. Why? So you can insult her? No, because it's now my job to attend to her. Excuse me. Okay. The last place I expect to find Emmeline is in the throne room. Much to my surprise, I find her standing alone inside, staring up at the throne. Oh. She turns to face me. She has a guilty expression on her face. I'm sorry. What's she apologizing for? I was very rude earlier, walking out on everyone at breakfast. Emmeline gazes back at the throne and sighs. I'm sure any other girl would be happy to have a ball. I mean, it's like something out of a fairy tale. But She sighs once again and looks down at her clasped hands. It all sounds so perfect in the fairy tales. 3 days is all it takes before everyone finds their true love. I don't think that's how it works out in real life, do you? I have nothing to say in response when Emmeline turns her beseeching gaze to me. I don't know how I'm supposed to marry someone I barely even know. Is this really what it means to be the crown princess? Isn't this precisely what you wanted? Excuse me? When your mother married the king, you became a princess. You went from rags to riches overnight. I cannot keep the bitterness from my voice when I speak. Your life is playing out like Cinderella's, is it not? All you're missing are the glass slippers, and then I'm sure the king could arrange for a pair. Can I understand why you're so unhappy? Neither can I. Emily turns away from me to face the throne once more. In the sun that streams through the windows, I see something shining on her cheeks. Is she crying? I'm so ungrateful. But, Fairy, what would you do? What? If you were in my place, if you became crown princess overnight, would you go through with the ball? For the sake of Angel's tradition? For the sake of your role? I would never do anything so worthless. He never brought up the subject with me. He most likely knew I would have refused. Emmeline suddenly pats her cheeks and turns to me. A wry smile on her face. I could do with some fresh air. Shall we go to my friend's shop in town? Oh, I gotta go to the shop again. We've only just exited the throne room when Emmeline stopped short and I almost bumped into her back. Oh! Who are you? Oh, Mithras. Have I met you before? I know. We mentioned your name in the last one and that you got killed by the Alcacer dude. But I don't remember meeting you. Really don't. Okay. Highness, what a pleasant... Sir Mithras abruptly stops to stare at me. Why is Sir Mithras looking at me so intently? I think that was supposed to be in italics, like that was my thinking, but... Is something the matter, Sir Mithras? No, nothing at all, Your Highness. I'm just amused. Amused. Oh, you haven't met my new maid. This is Butt Fairy. Butt Fairy? There's something in Sir Mithras's gaze that I do not trust. The silence is stifling, so I curtsy at him. Sir. Charming. Sir Mithras turns his attention back to Emmeline. Where are you off to on this pleasant day? Oh, just have to visit a friend. Make sure you bring your guards with you, Princess. Of course. I wonder what's taking him so long. Emmeline decided to invite Rod to join us on her visit. One of the guards offered to get Rod for her, but he's still yet to return. Another stands with us by the gates, ready to escort us into town. Why does the king even keep these incompetent fools so they cannot find a single person? Maybe we should go look for Rod. But then, what if he gets here as soon as we go searching for him? Sigh. I'll go look for him. You stay here. But you don't need to run errands for me. She's yet to ask me to do anything. What does she think a maid even does? I look at her solemnly, not answering her. Finally, she relents. Thank you, Butt Fairy. I incline my head just slightly before walking off. I feel like a babysitter. I cannot believe I have to search for Rod. It's only slightly better than being dragged around by that broom. Turn around the corner, nearly bump into someone. Take a few steps back just in time. Princess? Look up in shock. Fritz's surprise mirrors my own. Where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you. Pauses to stare at my clothing. Why are you wearing a maid's uniform? Fritz, you remember who I am? I would never forget you, Princess Butt Fairy. But it does seem like I'm the only one who remembers you. What is going on? The only people who remember me are the witches, fairies, and Fritz, are you? Stop when I hear the sound of approaching footsteps. Fritz turns at the sound and then stoops low into a formal bow when he sees Rod. Your Highness. Rod's impassive face twists with annoyance when he sees me. Rod does not even acknowledge Fritz as he walks past him to stoop in front of me. Shouldn't you be attending to my sister? I don't understand. Prince Rod, do you know why the princess is dressed like this? Rod is clearly just as surprised as I am that Fritz remembers me. You recognize her. You remember the princess too? But if you knew, why didn't you say anything when she first went missing? And can someone explain to me why she's attending to Princess Emmeline? This is Fritz. I cut him off before he can ask me more questions. Feel Rod's gaze on my back as I turn to look at Fritz. No more questions. But Princess, right now I'm a palace maid. Of what? It's a long story and I have no time to explain now, so do not ask. Fritz is clearly discontent. He seems to struggle for a few moments before he finally sighs and nods. Yes, Your Highness. Well, it's nice to hear someone here speak of my title. Will not do if Fritz calls me that on accident. It's just Butt Fairy for now. But. That's like the beginning of my name. Turn to face Rod. Emmeline is waiting. What? The guard cannot even deliver her message. Where are you going? Emmeline wants me to visit her friend's shop in town, and she wants you to go with us, Rod. Town? Ordinarily, I would not mind Fritz joining us, but right now he might just be unnecessary company. He may very well give me away. Rod barely wants to speak with me. When it's just the two of us, I doubt Fritz will make him more sociable. I am assuming that accompanying you is not an option at this point. Yes. Fritz looks down for a moment before looking at Rod. I'm sorry to ask this of you, Your Highness, but since she refuses to let me do so, please look after Princess Butt Fairy in my place. He's like, nah. Ridiculous. Do not need to be coddled. Even if I did, Rod couldn't care less if I'm hurt. I will do my best, Sir Fitzgerald. But I can't tell if he's being genuine or not. Fritz bows to the both of us. Stay safe, please, Butt Fairy. And you, Your Highness. Rod turns and begins to walk away without another word. Come on. Rod is silent as we make our way back to the palace gates. Still thinking about what he said to Fritz earlier. Why would Rod agree to Fritz's request? Because he just wanted him to leave? Ooh. Stare at Rod's back as he walks in front of me. Sometimes I cannot figure out what he's thinking. Rod, but Fairy. Emmeline beams when she catches sight of us. Are you ready? Rod crosses his arms. Does not look very happy with his sister. Even though Rod is younger, how can I help but think he often sounds like the older of the two? I'm busy, Emmeline. Can't keep dropping everything whenever you want to leave the palace. I'm sorry, but I just really need some fresh air today. You can get plenty of fresh air on the palace grounds. I felt the need to be off the palace grounds. Ah, my trigger finger. Emmeline's face drops as she looks down at the ground. Rod lets out an exasperated sigh before stepping inside the carriage. Come on. Rod? Just for an hour, okay? Thank you. Soon come to realize that it's easier to walk around town now that everyone has forgotten who I am. The atmosphere around town feels brighter. All the spiteful stares are gone. Princess Emmeline! Oh, how are you doing? Is your wife feeling better? Emmeline has responded to most of the people who know her. She seems to know a good majority of the people in town. I hang back as Emmeline speaks with the man. The night escort hovers somewhere nearby, watching for disturbances. We're going to take longer than an hour if she continues like this. I'm not going to rush her. Don't you need to return to the palace to continue whatever work it is you were doing? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. I didn't have to get back to my studies. My family always comes first. This makes Emmeline happy. I'm glad I come with her into town. It's a small thing. Happy. I look more closely at Emmeline. She is smiling, but then she always smiles. I do not understand. She's more at ease talking to the townsfolk sometimes, because they don't judge her. Why would she have to worry about being judged? It's clear that everyone adores her. Emmeline takes the man's hand in hers as she wishes him well. Rod points out the gesture. See that? That's goodness. You can learn something from my sister, Butt Fairy. Is goodness pretending to be interested in the lives of strangers? Emmeline eventually says her goodbyes before walking down a familiar store. It's the toy shop I visited with Emmeline and Rod before. I glance at Rod and notice the expression on his face. He seems conflicted. But why? But before I can speak, Rod marches in front of me and decisively pushes open the door. When I enter, Emmeline is already hugging the shop girl, Victoria. Emmeline, you look as beautiful as ever. Oh, please, you look the same. You, on the other hand. Emmeline steps back before nodding, a bright smile on her face. Being in love suits you. When is the wedding? Wedding? She's already engaged? Catch a movement out of the corner of my eye and turn to glance at Rod. Notice his fingers clenched to a fist before he quickly adds, "Aw, he liked her. Aw, it's sad days." Though his expression is as impassive as always, I notice a tenseness in his shoulders. What kind of name is that? Decamon and I haven't set a date yet, but it should be soon. Would you? Viorica trails off when she notices the rest of us. Hello, Rod. Viorica. So surprisingly static. Last time he was here, I was sure he sounded friendlier. So what can I help you with, Emmeline? Looking for another doll? Another doll? Emmeline's not interested in dolls. Oh no, I'm just here to see you. I can't stay away long since Rod has things to do. Emmeline, I'll wait for you outside. Oh, okay. I know it's my job to follow Emmeline around, but I'm not at all interested in hearing her talk to this girl. Does she even want me here? My time might be better spent trying to improve Rod's opinion of me. But if I could get him to tell me precisely what I've done wrong, I can make up for it. That'll give me a good deed. Curtsies to the two girls. Excuse me, Your Highness. I shall wait outside with Rod. Cough to clear my throat with the prince. Okay. Okay, I won't be long. I moved to stand next to Rod, who's leaning against the wall. It looked like he was holding me for a split second there. I'm like, where did my body go? Rod sighs in annoyance. Why do you keep on following me? Tell me how to rectify whatever wrong I've done to your family. This again. Cannot help but scowl at Rod's answer. You spout all this nonsense about goodness but refuse to help me. How's that good? You haven't given me any reason to help you. What? If you're not serious about genuinely learning how to be good, then I'm not interested in helping you. Maybe I can catch him off guard by bringing up his response in the toy shop just now. Fine. Then I will make normal conversation. Who is Veorica to you? Veorica. Has she done something to hurt your family too? Veorica is a childhood friend. She's not like you at all. Oh? Then why were you acting so cold to her? You obviously did not want to be inside the shop. Rod looks away from me and absently kicks a pebble on the ground. That is none of your business. I sigh, disappointed with Rod's reaction. Rod turns away from me as Emmeline exits the shop. Ready to go? Emmeline nods with a small smile. The two of us begin to make our way to the palace again. By the time we return to the palace, evening has fallen. It was just breakfast. What the heck? I hope we're not late for dinner. The minute the carrot doors open, we are gestured by two familiar faces. Sir Alcester and Sir Mithras stand before us. I don't remember what voice I was doing for him earlier. Princess Emmeline, Princess Rod, I'm on my way to look for you, and Mithras informed me of your whereabouts. He glares at the knight escort, and the knight shrinks back. Sir Alcester turns sharply to me after his eyes narrowed. Why are they looking at me like that? It's getting late, and the queen was worried. I'm so sorry. Princess Emmeline, Prince Rod. It's almost time for dinner. Please let me escort you inside. Sir Mithras gestures for them to follow him. I'm about to follow after them when Sir Alcester suddenly moves to block my path. His eyes are cold. He opens his mouth to say something, but then closes it and shakes his head. Yes, Miss Girl, you may go back to your quarters, but that is an order. His gaze is piercing. Even when I was the princess, I was not able to stand up to that gaze. Yes, sir. After dinner, I make my way back to the room assigned to me. As I walk down the hall, I notice Rod heading in my direction. Rod suddenly grabs my arm and pulls me away down the hall. Ah, where are you taking me? Rod does not answer and just continues moving until we reach an unfamiliar door. What is going on? Rod cuts me off by placing a finger on my lips. He looks around warily before finally pulling me in through the door with him. This place. I've heard of this place before, but I've never seen it. Is this the secret passage that leads into town? Rod does not answer me. He simply keeps walking, and I see no other option but to trail after him. How is it that you know this place? He still refuses to answer. Are you deaf? Rod suddenly stops and I bump into his back. I stumble back with a scowl. You ask too many questions. Because you refuse to answer any of them. I glare back at him until Rod makes an exasperated sound. Ugh. Lady Parfait is the one who told me about this passage. It makes sneaking out of the palace easier. Parfait? She should not give me any explanation as to how she knew of this place. There are only meant to be 2 copies of the key. The king has one, and Sir Alcester has the other. Why do you have a key? Don't tell me you stole it from the king. I am not a thief. Lady Parfait also has a copy. She thought fit to provide me with a key for my own use. What? How does Parfait have a key to this place? You'll have to ask her that yourself. Once we step into town, I realize where it is that we are headed. We're going back to the Marchen. Dolores is the first person we see as soon as we enter the Marchen. Well, well, look what the cat dragged in. Dolores, you... Rod's glare silenced me. He steps forward and points back at me, gaze icy. She's not staying at the palace. What? Delora raises an eyebrow. Why is that? She works there now. Do not know what game you're playing, but I will not be part of it. Excuse me, this is not a game. Do not want you meddling in my life as you meddled with hers. The room's temperature drops several degrees. Dolores stares at Rod, her expression suddenly lacking any emotion. With all due respect, Your Highness, I don't want to meddle with your wallowing. But just because you do not wish to break your curse doesn't mean that others shouldn't want to either. You should be humbled that our princess here thought you would be able to help her. Rod raises an eyebrow. Where's Lady Parfait? Of course you went to talk to Parfait, because she puts things nicely. Fine, I'll fetch her for you. Delora curtsies as she sweeps out of the room. Rod sighs. He clearly looks irritated, but he doesn't put a voice to his agitation. Now that we're alone in the empty room, the silence is deafening. And so I asked him the question that's bothered me since we came here. Why do you want me out of the palace? Why do you not want to break your curse? Why don't you want to break your curse? I don't need to explain myself to you. Do you even know how to break your curse? I do. So why are you not doing anything? It's none of your business. Do not realize the anger inside of me at first. Then I notice that my hands are fists and I'm shaking. You're angry at me for treating your family with unkindness, and yet you do not treat me with any respect or kindness either. Excuse me. Realize that this is the angriest I've felt in a long time, and it makes words fall out of my mouth. You're guilty of the same disrespect you hold me accountable for. We're both being cruel to family, aren't we? Rod's eyes are ablaze as he stalks toward me. He steps right in front of me, his mouth pressed into a firm line. Are you so fond of telling Emmeline? We do not share any blood. Wait. As you're so fond of telling Emmeline, we do not share any blood. The only thing pulling us together is the king, and you do not share his morals. Remember this, Butt Fairy. You will never be part of my family, and I will never see you as a sister. Oh, damn. Ooh. I don't know what to say with any of his. The further away you are from my family, the better. I glare at him. Reaction is completely unwarranted. I'm trying to make up for what I've done in the past. Only because you're being forced to. Why should that make any difference? Besides, I'm so willing to help you break your curse, even though it appears you do not want to. Okay. Sorry, looks like Parfait wasn't in. She pauses and then gives me a wry smile. Seems this partnership is going well. Throw my hands up in anger. He is infuriating. Not as helpful as you thought. I was surprised you were asking for his help in the first place. All I've been doing today is falling on Emmeline, and he still finds reason to snap at me. In his eyes, I can do nothing right, even though I'm making an honest effort to break my curse. Dolores eyes me as she slides down to a chair. Has he told you anything about his curse? Nothing useful. Dolores sighs. Boys can be so secretive about the silliest things. Rod has been aware of how to break his curse from the very beginning. Then why hasn't he broken it? I have no idea. I think the only other person who knows the full terms and conditions of Rod's curse is Parfait. Parfait? Parfait has known Rod for a while. She convinced him to keep coming to the merchant even after he gave up on breaking his curse. Parfait also thinks that working with you will convince Rod to try finding another way to break his curse. Another way? Don't ask me. I don't know much about his curse either. But if you keep trying, you might convince Rod to talk. I doubt that very much. Seems that all I'm doing is convincing Rod that I do not deserve to break my own curse. Just hearing my dogs bark. Delora looks at me curiously for a few moments, then she grins. I have an idea. If it is another terrible idea... Oh no, this one's much better. I'll just stick around with you. You know, watch out for you. But, Delora, watch out for me? Magic. Aww. I'm surprised when Dolores suddenly stands before me in her doll form. There's no way you and Rod are going to sort yourselves out without some kind of help, so I'll be tagging along. It's much easier when I'm travel size, But I feel like she'll only make things worse. Come on then. Dolores somehow manages to jump to the front pocket of my apron, which is thankfully large enough to fit her doll body. Let's go find us a prince and get ourselves back to the palace. Chapter 4, One Step Forward. Alright, so I think that will be it for this part. I don't know what part we're on, like part 8 or something of the series, but it's the first part with Rod. So, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you when we come back to continue Rod's. Even though I didn't want to do Rod's, I was trying to do a little kid with the Neverland curse, because I assumed you could. Because I got the little thing, and I'm assuming he's that dude in the middle that's locked. And then the other one is my, like, old personal guard. Both of those are locked. So they must be, like, really cool stories. So I'm assuming I have to go through 3 normal ones. And I didn't want to do Rod's, because that seems really weird to me, because he's my stepbrother. But, and it's a dating sim game. So part of me is like, oh, maybe it's not actually falling in love with him. Maybe it's me helping him find someone else. And then I get nobody. I don't know. Cause, I don't know. That's just weird. Because he's my stepbrother. That's weird. So I'm hoping it doesn't end with that. I'm hoping it's like we actually become brother and sister. That kind of love. Because I think that'd be a lot less creepy and cringy kind of thing. So, alright, so we'll see. But I really did like Karma's playthrough. It worked really well, and so at the beginning of this is interesting. But yeah, so sorry that my voices suck. See you guys next time. Bye!